morning from the Porter Pickup Shop. Brian Porter here. I wanted to talk a little bit about guitar repair. I wanted to talk about the method to the madness. I wanted to talk about experimenting with guitar repair. I wanted to talk about jumping in and just trying all things guitar repair. I'm over here, you can see behind me, at our guitar repair station. We've got our NAM banner up there, some different things that we use for guitar repair, and behind me over here is another bench full of stuff to work on guitars. Even over here I've got this is set up on its side right now, but this is the neck jig from Stu Mac, which is a very expensive thing to do fret work, but it works really well. But I want to talk about this idea of there's no right or wrong way sometimes to do guitar repair. Well, there is some wrong ways for sure, but there's a lot of methods to the end result. If you notice anything about guitar repair, if you look at a certain subject, you're going to see a bunch of different ways to make it happen. Now, whether that's a fast way for a production shop or just a slow way as you're learning, whether you're working on frets, whether you're soldering, whether you're adjusting your neck, there's so many different ways and tools to make it happen. You can spend tons and tons of money. You can do caveman methods. You can find a quicker way to do it, a cheaper way to do it. But I want to encourage you guys to try something. Let me show you this guitar out here in the shop. I'll come all the way around here. Where is this thing? Here we go. This is a Harley Benton Strat. I purchased this on their used website, the Tolman website. I have a very love-hate relationship with this guitar. It was on their clearance rack. It was on the the specials page. I think it was $100, maybe even less than $100. I'm not completely sure on the price, but it was super cheap, and there's good reason for why it was super cheap. It's a terrible guitar. But one thing that's good with a guitar like that is I can beat that thing up, and I can really work on frets. I can work on leveling techniques. I can work on wiring techniques. I can work on changing hardware. All of these things, I'm not really worried about the price of that guitar. I'm not really worried about ruining that guitar. In fact, that guitar won't stay in tune worth anything. And Marco almost caught me about to run it through the bandsaw one time because we're just so tired of dealing with what that guitar was. But the principle is that there is guitars out there that are worth buying that you can practice your techniques on. Now, I'm a do-it learner. I'm a visual learner. I've got to jump in and I've got to try things to learn it. Some people can read a book, watch a video, and they automatically know how to do it. I can do that somewhat, but I've got to jump in there and try it. So over the years, I've just developed different favorites and different techniques. Go over here, I've got a whole rack of different crowning files. I'm just trying all these different crowning methods to figure out what makes most sense for the guitars that we make or guitars that we repair here in the shop. So I just want to mention that because there's a lot of very strong opinions about the right way to do certain things, and I disagree with that. There is not always a right way. Sometimes there's a best way. Sometimes there's a cheaper way. Sometimes you might want to use the most expensive tool in that specific situation. So just want to jump on here and encourage you guys to try things with guitar repair, to remember that just because you see something on the internet doesn't mean it's the only way to do something. Feel free to experiment. I just like to make a lot of mistakes before I learn something, and it takes longer sometimes. But again, using a cheap guitar, using something that you're not super fond of before you mess with it. A cheap guitar, you could rip the nut off and just force yourself to make a new nut for that guitar, to practice, to experiment with nut files, and to work on techniques. So that's a very broad generalization, but I think there's been a lot of very strong opinions on even some of our videos, and other videos is like, oh, that's not the right way. You got to do it this way. And I would just say, just keep that in mind. Keep an open mind when you look at different methods. Different ways are going to work best for you that may not work for someone else. And someone may say, well, that's a dumb way of doing it. But that's not always the case. So that's my encouragement for you guys today. Get in there, jump in there with your guitars. Don't try it again on your most expensive guitar, but build up, and don't be afraid to try something. Rip some guts out. I always like to force myself to learn stuff. So maybe you pull your 5-way switch out of the guitar and throw it in the trash, and then buy a new one, and you got to figure out how to rewire your 5-way switch or your pots or whatever you might want to try. Just jump in, just go for it. It's going to be worth it. The things that you're going to learn are probably going to save you some money in the long term, and you don't have to spend, again, thousands of dollars on tools, but you're going to find that certain tools are going to be worth that purchase as you go through. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions on where to get started with guitar repair, again, we are not the experts. We have done and fixed hundreds and hundreds of guitars, but our main job is pickups. So we're not always working on guitars. But consider trying it. Consider going for it. That's my encouragement for you guys today. You got nothing to lose. Your price of 1 or 2 trips to a tech might be a cheap guitar that you can just start to hack away at and start to really experiment. Try refretting it. Try again pulling off the nut. Try changing tuners. Try all sorts of things. The beauty of guitar is that it's fun and it's enjoyable, and learning how to do guitar repair and fixing your own guitars is a super valuable skill that everyone can benefit from. So thank you guys so much for watching. You can check us out at porterpickups.com, and don't forget to check out our other videos here on the channel as well. And thank you guys for your support.